Hey, today I'm talking about three 1950s romance films, all featuring Cary Grant. And the names of those three movies are An Affair to Remember, People Will Talk, and The Pride and the Passion. First up is An Affair to Remember. This is a 1957 film starring Cary Grant and Deborah Kerr. And the basic premise is Cary Grant plays this man who is engaged but likes to flirt with every beautiful woman he comes across. While Deborah was this woman in this long-term relationship, and they meet each other on this voyage on the high seas, and some chemistry happens. And it's pretty dang solid. I definitely enjoyed the first half more than the second half. Like, pretty much everything on the boat was great. Like, I loved his character introduction because it's like this messenger boy going around trying to find this guy, shouting out his name. You can see everyone's excitement at hearing, oh, this guy's on this boat? What? That's crazy. And it's building and building and building. And then when we do finally see him, we only see part of him at first, and it really pays off to a great reveal. And then like that phone call too was just a perfect encapsulation of who he is as a person. Because he had just been sleeping with this young, beautiful woman, and she finally sees the news story about how he's engaged, and she's like, what the hell? Why didn't you tell me you're engaged? And he's like, yeah, whatever, and hangs up. And I'm like, oh my God, all right. I know who this guy is now. And then when he meets Deborah's character, he lays it on so thick. Like, he is pulling no punches trying to get in her pants. And that in and of itself is interesting, but then she quickly takes control of the situation, and he just crumbles down into like this little boy of like, all right, well, I'm gonna leave. And she's like, no, you're stuck in this situation. We're gonna be friends now. And it's so just well written and fun and funny, and I loved it. You can instantly see the chemistry between them, even when they're not being flirty. Like, there is just such a strong vibe between the two of them. And just making Cary Grant look like a fool is so much fun. And then I love too the switch once like they are kind of having a thing, and then like the whole boat is gossiping about it is a lot of fun. Once they get off the boat, like going to the grandma's house, that scene was interesting, but like it really just kind of dragged on. And really, anytime they don't share the screen together, I kind of lost interest. Just like there wasn't a spark there still. And after the kiss scene, I feel like we kind of missed something. Like, it kind of like skipped a beat. Like, it kind of went from like, oh, we're very, very flirty. Oh, we had this big moment. And now like, we're suddenly in the thick of something else. It didn't feel quite right to me. Not saying I need to like see them be more explicit. I think seeing more of them doing the romance stuff on the boat. Because I think we kind of get like a summary of it. We jump to like near the end of the voyage. Could talk about like phone calls and stuff, and I'm like, what phone call? Give me the juicier details. So yeah, it did lose me a bit in the second act, but then the end of the film, like the big confrontation at the end, which is just this long scene in this apartment, was done so well. It really won me back, and it was just so interesting and beautifully done, and they really brought it together in such a way that really made the whole journey worthwhile for sure. So yeah, I enjoyed this film a good solid amount. It didn't have me the whole time, but I think it came around in the end to a pretty dang good experience. So yeah, if you want a good, fun, interesting, cute little rom-com thing, this is that. It definitely scratches the itch for sure, so totally recommend. Next up is People Will Talk. This is a 1951 film. I don't know how to describe this film. It's wild. So Cary Grant plays this doctor, right? He's a very charitable guy. He likes to help people out. There's this young woman who comes in with this unwanted pregnancy. She tries to kill herself. He lies to her about stuff and tries to help her out as much as he can. He does realize that her situation is really dire, and so what does he do? He decides to marry her. It's not really a ton of romance there. It's just kind of like him doing her a favor, but he like commits to it though. It's just kind of like that power imbalance of like, he's a 40-year-old dude, she's a 20-year-old girl. He just convinces her that this is good. And like, it is good. It does work out. Like, he is a good guy. But like, that's also not what the movie's about. The movie's about like him just doing all of these random good acts that are kind of insane. Like, the end of the movie is so wild. wild. I won't say exactly what happens. I won't spoil it. But I will say, the entire film, Cary Grant's always accompanied by this other man. And it's this whole big mystery about who this guy is. Why does he follow him around? Is he a servant? Is he a butler? Is he his father? Is it a friend? Like, what is the deal? And like, there's nasty rumors about the guy. And like, for some reason, Cary Grant has an arch rival who's just really out to get him and spends the entire film trying to discredit him. And so he finally figures out who this manservant guy is, and he's gonna reveal it. And so like, there's this whole big investigation, and the end of the film has this boardroom meeting thing, like, oh, are they gonna revoke his medical license or something? And so they finally tell the story of who this random guy is. And it's a fascinating story. It's so wild. It's so interesting. It's 100% not what I was expecting. I couldn't have ever guessed that that's what it was going to be about. But it does make sense. It does track with the whole rest of the story. And actually it ties back into something we see Cary Grant do at the beginning of the film, which is really interesting. Regardless, that's what the film ends up being about, is just like the good acts of Cary Grant's character. So like, I was expecting it to more so be about this romance thing. That is an aspect of the film, but that's not the only aspect of the film. I don't even know if I would consider it the main aspect of the film. So yeah, it's wild. I like this film a good solid amount. It's a quite like, so it's basically a 4 out of 5 for me. Would I recommend it? Yeah. Just like, there is a romance aspect of the film, but again, that's not the main aspect of the film. It's about a lot of stuff. And that end story makes the whole thing worthwhile. So yeah, no, enjoyed this a good solid amount, and I would recommend it. And lastly is The Pride and the Passion. This is a 1957 film co-starring Frank Sinatra. And the basic premise is, during the Napoleonic Wars, one side has a giant cannon. They have to abandon it. So some Spanish people are trying to take it, but the English are also trying to take it. It's got strong Fitzcarraldo vibes, hauling this giant cannon around. And I will say, there is some really cool looking shots of like this cannon just doing stuff, like getting hauled around, dangling off a cliff at one point, careening down a hill. Those are great. The battle sequences are pretty interesting, but like, it's just really not good performances. In particular, Frank Sinatra, oh my god. He's got some tanning stuff on, his haircut is terrible, he's doing a silly accent, and it's just not working at all. This frail old man is just, I'm not a fan of this. I do like Frank Sinatra on some stuff, but this was not good. Also, the female lead in this, Sophia Loren, she couldn't speak English at this point, so she learned all of her lines phonetically. Didn't work. She is just here to be a pretty face, and anytime she speaks, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And like, I like Cary Grant. I'm a fan of Cary Grant, and I don't think he was giving it his all. He's definitely putting in more effort than the other leads. No shade to Sophia, 100% shade to Frank. But I think he could tell the vibe-wise that this is not a film he needs to go all out for, because it wasn't working. I did like him the most of the three, obviously, but like, yeah. So yeah, the performances just really weren't doing anything for me. I will say real quick though that they made giant fireballs at one point, and that was cool. And I also like the scale of it. Like, it definitely felt big and epic, but just on the whole, like, it just was not grabbing me whatsoever. The performances were just ugh. And so yeah, I did not care for this film, and I would not recommend it. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got An Affair to Remember, sitting at number 38 in the Quite Like section. And then after that is People Will Talk, sitting at number 65, again in the Quite Like section. And then bringing up the rear, rightfully so, is The Pride and the Passion, sitting at number 98 in the Didn't Like section. And this is out of a total of 108 old movies so far this year.